not to reply to your email this morning, but I will be there tomorrow.
I know.
It's 6 o'clock. We're going to continue with the public session of the August 19th Board of Selectmen meeting. I invite everybody to please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome everybody. First up is public comment. Any public comment? I'm not seeing any. I'll close public comment. Move on to new business. First up, fire station driveway parking repairs.
So this is for seal coating the driveway. I got quotes to do. I originally was going to get the cracks fixed, and then realized that it should be sealed. And talking to different people, it should have been sealed after the first year. It's been 3 years now, so we want to get that done. I got 3 quotes. The one that I'm recommending is Armor Guard. It's more money than the other ones, but in talking to Pat, that's the one he recommended because of the quantity of the product. It's 3 times the product for twice the cost. And I did call the references, and I also checked with somebody else that does a lot of facilities work, and he recommended them unbeknownst that I had already had quotes in. And the plan is to pay it out of the remaining funds in the bond for the construction of the station.
All right. Questions or comments from the board?
There's no guarantee on the drive. I mean, it's what, less than 3 years old? There was no guarantee when it was put in or anything? I mean, why is it looking like this if it's...
It's just normal for pavement to crack after a certain period of time. Just maintenance.
Especially living in New England, you know.
Yeah, it's not a repair, it's more of a maintenance thing, so it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Look at the roads after a year or two, they're all cracked and it's no different.
No, I mean, I know a little bit about seal coating, and I just think that this preventive maintenance, it's something that unfortunately sometimes we don't do, and I just think that this is something that needs to be done to preserve
The
what we have.
alternative is we don't do it and we spend $50,000 in 10 or 15 years to repave it, or it looks like the police station parking lot, so, which has not had anything done ever. So those are your options: $6,000 every few years, or repave it every 10 or 15. Wakefield did theirs, it was 50 grand. They had a warrant article issue, same size.
I mean,
All right. You want to make a motion to go forward with Armor Guard seal coating for the fire station for $6,399 to be paid from the bond, remaining money in the bond of the fire station.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, Casey Road restrictions.
Karen Golab, Chair of the Casey Road Land Protection Committee, and here tonight to propose to you our recommended, permitted, and prohibited uses of the property. This is for the welcome sign that will go at the entrance of the property. We're in the final stages of the easement process, so we want to start working on, getting signs made with volunteers and that type of thing. I will say that specifically the prohibited uses, there was not full agreement on a couple of items, with one person suggesting that maybe we have a public meeting on it, but specifically for hunting and motorbike, bicycling. But I'm here tonight to present it to you, answer any questions you may have, and then going forward, get your permission to proceed or have a discussion on it.
Can I ask why you're saying no to bicycling and horseback riding?
Yes, specifically because of the damage to the trails. We have an Eagle Scout who's putting a lot of work in building trails, blazing trails. We're really hoping to have this be a walking trail type property. And we're just concerned, with it's not a large property. It's not 500 acres. So we don't really feel it's a safety, it's a safety concern having those small trails shared with walkers and bicyclists. Plus, they do damage, especially
Right.
in the spring. So,
Thank you.
I was just reading. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I'm fine with this.
And you've got a parking discussion?
What's that?
The parking discussion, you wanna?
yeah, do you want me to move on to that?
Sure, yeah. You looking for a motion for this? Acceptance of this from the board, I take it, right? Is that what you want?
Who are you with?
You want a
Oh,
motion
yes.
for the
Yes.
board to be in agreement with this, right?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the sign for the Casey Road Conservation Land.
I'll second it for discussion, but the chief has his hand up before we go
I'm
further.
having trouble hearing.
I'm gonna second it for discussion, but the chief has his hand up
Okay.
for,
Are you talking about motorized bikes or are you talking pedal bikes?
All bikes.
So you want us to ban bicyclists from riding in the woods?
Now, the one thing I will add is these are restrictions that are not going to be in the easement, so it's something that can be changed if we, in the future, want to bring it up for discussion again. I mean, this is not something that is absolutely permanent. It's controlled by the town, so we do have a little leeway regarding that.
is this similar to the restrictions on the trails by the farm museum?
Similar in respects to, I think some things you can do it with permission. I don't know the exact details, but I do not know whether they do or do not permit hunting. But I mean, that property is a lot larger than this.
I mean,
This is 79 acres.
I'm fine with prohibiting, I'm just speaking out loud, of course, the motorized vehicles, hunting, trapping, targeting, shooting, camping, of course, horseback riding, and all fires. I was just on the fence with bikes. And I did sit in a lot of the meetings, and I kind of, the townspeople, put this warrant article forward and it passed, and we were doing this for the people of Milton, and I know bike riding is kind of a big sport today, and so I am on the fence with the biking, but everything else I'm fine with. So I don't know how you guys feel.
I mean,
Well, the biking, but if
What's
it's,
that?
I said the biking, that's why I asked about the biking.
Mhm.
I didn't realize it was only 79 acres up there. I have been up there, I have walked the trails, it's very nice.
Yeah. It is a small trail
Mm-hmm.
right now. It's not like miles long, so. But, if it's under the provision of, the easement that we can change it in the future,
yeah, these are not
Then-
going to be part of the easement whatsoever.
yeah,
So these are things that are within the control of the town.
yeah.
So the biggest, when the Conservation Commission was discussing this, the biking was one of the subjects of
Yeah,
disagreement, I guess I should say.
For more than few years. So, you know, everybody obviously has, you know, strong feelings one way or the other. I think majority of people opted for prohibiting bicycles only to, number one, protect people who are walking out there because the trails are small, and two, for the condition of the trails. If we get those trails in a nice condition to walk on. And I'm not saying anything against bicyclists or whatever, but they could be ruined very quickly, especially during like mud season. So.
Is it something that maybe during a particular season that maybe just the bicycling could be
Restricted.
Good.
restricted instead of restricting it completely?
Yeah.
Like we do with the roads in town, you
Mhm.
know, in the spring,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
Oh. I mean, I know you can't speak for everybody on the Conservation Commission, but will the Conservation Commission be open to maybe allowing bicycling at first, and if we find that it's an issue, we revisit it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we'd be open to anything, you know. So that's what, I mean, we're here to get your, you know, your opinion before we proceed. So.
So I don't know what's the board's feelings.
No, I mean, I like to see I like to see bicycling, and if it becomes an issue where, you know, they don't happen to do a lot of trail maintenance, because this is all volunteer work down there, strictly volunteer work.
But a lot of those people, not to interrupt, but a lot of those people that go out bicycling, just like the ATVers, which I also do, I mean, they go out and they help a lot in these instances. So, I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah, so.
not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we currently have a motion to accept as written and a second for discussion.
Discussion. So let's retract the motion.
So do we want to
as written.
vote on this motion and fail it, and then do another motion? So I'll take a roll call to accept as written. All in favor? No?
No.
Yeah.
No, okay. And we want to make a new motion. Do you want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to revise the Town of Milton Case Road Conservation Land sign to exclude the prohibited bicycling.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we'll be glad to revisit it
Yep.
if it
absolutely.
becomes an issue.
Absolutely. So I do have a diagram that was handwritten of the parking area.
Very nice one.
I know.
Thank you.
Did you do this?
I did not. I'm not that good. So, as some of you are aware, the school wants to use this property as like a nature's classroom. We do have a natural wood chip parking area there now. Virginia, who is a member of the committee, met with Pat and I believe Tim, who is the school bus coordinator, to see what we needed to do to make the parking area big enough for a school bus to go in and turn around. What they came up with is we could leave it a wood chip foundation for the parking area, but in order for the buses to really get in safely and turn around, there's minor excavation that needs to be done of some trees and stuff. That is in red. We're gonna have some volunteers help take down the smaller trees, but Pat is going to help out in the fall when he has down time to go in and take down the larger trees. And my understanding is if we do that, that should be in the time of year that it's not like mud season. It should be fine to be able to get in, a school bus to be able to get in and turn around. So we just wanted to let you know, and if you have any concerns with that, just to let us know.
I'm all set with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
All right.
that is it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work, Karen.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Milton Mills flagpole replacement request.
I'm Bob Graham, and I'm representing the veterans in the town. We put the flags up there all the time, and we replace the flags annually. The flagpole has been there for about 50 years. It was a makeshift pole to begin with, and it's getting rusty and it's bent at the top. At one time they had, I'm not sure whether it's still up there or not, but they had a ball from a toilet tank painted gold stuff on the top. Just, I don't know if it's still there. I know there's lights up there now, but it's in pretty sad shape. Pat's tried for the last 5 or 6 years to keep it painted and what have you, but the rust is just lifting the paint off, and it's really bad. So I've gone through the VFW store and Carrot Top Industries. They all deal with flags and stuff, and priced several of the poles. And I'm asking for about $4,000. I don't necessarily need to spend it all, but the poles range anywhere from 2,200 to 3,600 for a 35 footer, depending on the quality of the pole. And we would need a little bit of money to get it installed, and I don't know if Pat can do it or not with his shortage of crew down there. And it was suggested to me that money come from the Durgan Fund. Apparently there's money available in that fund for the betterment of the townspeople, for the betterment of the town, so.
Well, that's an application process though, right, through the Durgan Fund?
I have no idea how it works.
Yeah.
I know it's up to the selectmen to approve it.
Yeah, through
I don't,
Karen Brown. I mean, like I couldn't sit here and say, yeah, take it out of the Durgan Fund, because that's not up to us. That's
I think the selectmen are the spending agents out of that fund, right?
yeah, that's what Karen told me, the selectmen of the,
On the Durgan Fund, yeah.
The Durgan
The-
Fund.
On the, what's the other one called? The,
How much money
Lockhart.
is in that fund, do you know? Does anybody know?
I was looking in here.
it's about 13,000 is what I was told, but I'm not sure.
Yes, I believe there's around that can be spent. There's more than that in the fund, but I believe we can only spend the interest. I believe there's about 13,000 in interest.
Okay. Oh, I thought. Okay.
I think you're thinking Lockhart. Has to go through the trustees.
Okay.
So, Bob, do you think you could come back with a more defined price on what the pole's gonna cost? And then the installation.
Depends on what pole we ultimately decide on, for quality of the pole, and some of them, the thickness of the aluminum, or whether we get a fiberglass pole like we got in Veterans Park. That one, I don't know. That was pretty expensive.
The external halyard one is cheapest. The one we have in the park is internal. The external ones are cheaper. And that's what we have now in Milton Mills. But that one in Milton Mills ain't gonna last very long before it comes down and becomes a liability.
Have you?
And I'm thinking just, I said 4,000 because I didn't, we hadn't picked out a pole yet. But you guys are in control of the spending, so, I mean, you could,
But cheaper's not necessarily
better.
Yeah, cheap is not better.
right.
No.
I mean, it's,
We-
I'd rather see, like, maybe get a little bit more information.
Right.
Yeah, wow,
from
we have
other-
catalogs here.
And, well,
Yeah.
but there's a place in Greenland or
Yes, in Greenland.
on,
Flags.
33.
We can check
33,
that out.
thank
Yeah,
you. Have
yeah.
you-
I checked
Pretty
those
expensive.
verbally, over the phone, and they're up to $5,000 or $6,000 a pole. Those are, and their poles are made in New Hampshire, but they're spun fiberglass, and they're pretty expensive. And that's
Is it-
basically what we've got in Veterans Park. And this pole, we need that, the one in Veterans Park is what, a 50-footer?
That's a big one, that's a
And we're
50.
looking at a 35-footer for,
When the flags get wet in the winter, and the wind
Right.
blows and they're frozen, it takes the pole right over, and that should be taken into consideration
yeah.
Right,
when purchasing the pole.
Yeah.
right.
Like, one of the poles in here, or one of the type of poles in here has a wind resistance of 250 miles an hour.
So do you think you guys could maybe come up with 2 or 3 options that you think would be
Sure,
Sure.
satisfactory
Yeah,
for
do
what
that.
we need down there and bring it back to us and
right.
Yeah.
with more defined numbers for the 2 or 3 different options and then,
Can do.
I mean, I'm on board with
Yeah.
going forward
right.
with getting the flagpole straightened out down there, so.
In addition to that, we've discussed in our meetings, doing brick, like we have in the walkway in Veterans Park,
Right,
around that flagpole, for a little bit more ease of maintenance there.
And this is the pole by the Iron Miller store.
Right.
right.
And
We
Pat
want-
wants to keep it there.
We wanted to move it, but we were told it's been there for 50 years. So,
Pat would like to keep it there, so we're okay with that. So I'll come back to you when, next meeting, and,
Yeah,
yeah, you want me to submit something ahead of time?
yeah, if you could just submit 2 or 3 different options
Sure.
and what the cost would be and maybe the benefits from one to another and then
Yeah,
your ultimate recommendation out of the 2 or 3 options you
okay, yeah.
look at.
Yeah, have some
All right.
pictures.
right.
Yeah.
No pictures, so.
Yeah, hand drawn ones.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next up is September meeting schedule adjustment. So the current schedule falls on the first September meeting
And the second.
is Labor Day, which is September 2nd. And then our next meeting would be September 16th. So I would actually like to propose to adjust the meeting to Monday, September 9th and Monday, September 23rd. So that will give us our meetings roughly every 2 weeks.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
All right, so I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But that's not gonna interrupt the budget committee meeting, is it? No, okay.
No,
I don't believe so.
Oh, no, no,
Not
that's on a
either
Monday.
day.
That's on a-
It's
Never
on a
mind, just
Saturday.
Keep going.
The next, so now on to old business. I'm gonna table the next 2, town-owned properties update and the auction property status. And move on to law firm selection. So the board has sent out a request for proposal to several different law firms. We had several workshops where we interviewed the different law firms. I will make a motion that we move to accept Drummond and Woodsum as as a new attorney for the town of Milton.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll also make a motion to have the town administrator, Ernie, to work with our current attorneys and the new attorney to develop a transition plan for all our outgoing legal issues.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up, budget process. So really all I gotta say here is September 14th at 9 a.m. It's Saturday. That's the plan for the Budget Committee and the Board of Selectmen to meet together and go through all the different budgets for the town.
Where are we doing this at?
Here, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm just expecting a large amount of people from the public to be there to put their input into the budgeting process, so I didn't know if it would be big enough here.
I can see if the school is available if that's what you want to do, but it
I think we
was
should be
never
able to-
ever discussed.
I think it'll be fine here.
We should be good. So one thing I should have mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, unfortunately our town administrator couldn't be here tonight, so he's excused from the meeting. So, other business that may come before the board. We have a municipal agreement for the Milton Lebanon bridge, the Townhouse Road Bridge. This agreement has been vetted by our attorneys. Town planner has been working with DOT and all the different players in this project on this agreement. So we have it here for the board to accept and sign. So
I'll make a motion to go ahead and sign the agreement.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, another item that has come up is a request for the planning, request from the planning board for an extension on the CIP process. I'll ask Bruce to speak to this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Bruce Woodruff, Town Planner. The Planning Board has requested extra time to present their annual capital improvement program report to you. As you know, the policy document that you approved does state that the report has to come to you in that first week in September. What I wanted to tell you is that all of the submission documents from all the various people that propose capital improvement projects didn't get to the planning board until just before August 6th of this year, and they were all supposed to be in by the middle of June. Now, we are catching up a little bit, and as I said, we were supposed to begin to review all of those compiled project submissions starting on July 2nd. We didn't get all of these until August 6th. So there's about a month and 4 days that we're behind at this point. And so really what the planning board is asking is this. They're asking to change this deadline date for submission from September 5th to October 16th, which coincides with the day after their required public hearing on the capital improvement program.
I'm fine with that.
Fine with that. Make a motion to grant the planning board an extension for the CIP submission of October 16th.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up is approval of minutes. Start with the July 11th workshop.
I'll make a motion to approve July 11th, 2019 workshop as written.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. July 15th workshop.
Approve them as written
I'll
for the
second.
July 15th, 2019.
I'm going to abstain because I was not here for that one.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
July 15th regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
July 18th workshop.
Make a motion to approve as written.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving right along, expenditure report.
I'm good with the, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you. All right, next up is public comment pertaining to topics discussed on tonight's agenda.
Richard Burke, 36 Lakeside Drive. I just wonder if I could make a suggestion. A lot of times when you're having these discussions, we from the public have no idea, such as the Durgan Fund. If we could have a little description. I don't know what that fund is. I don't know how the monies are to be expended. Obviously, you said something about interest only. But I think in the course of discussion with the public who may not be here, I just would make that as a suggestion if we could just have a little education as to what you're talking about.
All right,
Thank you.
sure, thanks. Any other public comment?
Laurie Brown. Quick math on bicycle trails using size 10 shoe, 150-pound person, and a 26-inch mountain bike tire. Standing on 1 foot, you get about 250, 300 pounds per square foot. Mountain bike tire has a 2-inch by 2-inch tread contact that will give you about 10 times minimum of the same pressure on the trail. This is not a rural share-the-road bike lane. This is erosion-prone hiking trail environment. It will erode. It will bring athletic endeavors by bicycle users. That's the kind of trail you're going to get. There are reasons for excluding horses. Those same reasons apply to the knife edge of a mountain bike knobby tire. And lastly, bicycle ruts encourage ATV ruts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
It's not on the David Cormier, Silver Street. It's not on here, but I live on Silver Street. It's in dire need of repair. One of the drains is completely plugged at the lower level. Every time we have a rainstorm like we did today, everything gets washed out. I've talked with Les Elder about it. I'm part of the Milton, the closed meeting and stuff, and I called the city barn, and they said they're down 3 people, 1 mechanic and 2 regular workers. But Silver Street, including the sidewalk, is in dire need of repair. It's not safe. The driveways are washed out too. So, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other public comment? I'm not seeing any. So one thing under administrative comments, which we haven't addressed yet, is the Economic Development Committee recording clerk request. I don't know if you want to speak to that just a little bit. There was basically a request.
There was a request from the chairman of the Economic Development Committee for a formal recording clerk, which would be a paid position to record the minutes from the meeting. The request has been made. What do you?
I mean, I guess I would suggest that if they want to do that next year, that they put it in their budget. That would be my, I don't know how the board feels. If,
Yeah, we're on a default budget, so.
I mean, if they want to get a recording clerk, they should put it in a line item in their budget for next year.
I agree.
All right, next up, selectmen comments. Andy?
I just have one, but I don't want to say it because I don't know if
Go
my
ahead.
good friend here.
I'm used to it.
No, I just wanted to put out that the Rex has their volleyball sign-ups. I just was throwing it out there if anybody's interested in having their child play, not volleyball,
I was gonna
soccer.
say soccer.
Soccer. See, so I've already screwed it up. But no, so if you have any children out there that's interested in playing soccer, fall soccer or whatever it is, look into the rec department. So.
I'm good for this week.
I am as well. So that concludes our public part of tonight's meeting. Thank everybody for coming. We have a few non-publics. So I'll make a motion going to non-public 91A32C.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Question, how do I find out about volunteering to clear up the trails up there?
Oh, the conservation has a